In today's video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about grass seed and how you can repair some of those small patches of dead areas in your lawn. So let's get out of the weeds. So I'm going to be focusing today on just smaller seeding jobs, little areas that you have in your lawn that just you're not getting grass to grow, or maybe the dog destroyed it, or whatever it may be, but you have smaller areas. Because I don't recommend doing a big seeding job in the spring, just because a lot of the elements are going against you. When we get rain, a lot of times it's real heavy rain, so it can wash things out. The temperatures are starting to rise, so you got a small window there before it gets too hot, and our cool season grass doesn't really want to grow. And then you also have a lot of weed competition, so it's just you have a lot of barriers when it comes to seeding in the spring. But whenever you have a couple of small patches in that, it's a lot more manageable to do this time of year. A lot of you, the strategy that you're going to use here between the two that I'm going to talk about today is going to depend on really how particular you are about the type of grass that's in your lawn. A lot of us with cool season grass are a mixture of grasses. Most of the cool season grasses play very well together, and so a lot of the yards that you see are going to be a combination of different types of cool season grass, as opposed to just having one type of grass that's for your whole entire lawn. Now for my first strategy, it's going to be buying a patch repair from a big box store. Now there's several different companies and different brands that make these. This one I am going to be using today is Scott's Easy Seed. I have used it in the past. Another one that I've used that's also by Scott's is Scott's Patch Master. They're both going to be essentially doing the same thing. And what it is you essentially buy a package or you buy a bag of the Patch Master, and it is literally the seed, fertilizer, and then also a covering all in one. So all you're essentially going to be doing with one of these is you're going to be essentially just clearing out the area that you want to seed, dumping this on it, and then watering it, and in a little bit you're going to be having actually grass, so it'll just repair. So it's an all-in-one. You don't have a lot of steps. It's just real easy. Now the thing to keep in mind with these is that these aren't cost effective if you have huge areas. If you have real big areas, getting a patch repair is not going to be your most cost effective method, because you're paying a premium to kind of have it all in one. And so if you just have a few little spots here and there, these are perfect to do. Just dump a little bit on it, water it, and you're going to be good to go, and you'll fill in kind of your dead spots in your lawn. So now I'm going to go over the label on the Scott's Easy Seed to see what's in this container. Taking a look at the front, you see Scott's Easy Seed Patch and Repair, and you see below there sun and shade. Now the thing to note is don't always just follow what the label says. When it just says sunny mix or shade mix or sun and shade, whatever it does, take a look actually at the seed sheet so you can see. So if you actually go and look at the seed sheet on the side of this, you'll see here that it has a mixture of perennial ryegrass, creeping red fescue, and Kentucky bluegrass in this container. To kind of cover a brief overview of what those grass types are bringing to this container is, whenever you see the perennial ryegrass in there, perennial ryegrass is typically more for full sun, but the thing that's really nice about perennial ryegrass is it grows really quickly. It is the fastest germinating cool season grass, which you can probably start to see anywhere from 4 to 7 days typically is when you're going to start seeing it. So a lot of the brands like Scott's and some of the ones in the major big box stores, a lot of times they throw perennial ryegrass in their grass seed bags because you're going to get that quick germination. They want your kind of everyday homeowner to be able to get results quickly, and you're going to get that with a perennial ryegrass. Now moving on to the next one, the creeping red fescue. So what that tells me right there, when I see the creeping red fescue, that is a shade tolerant grass. So it's going to be a very thin bladed grass that's going to germinate somewhere between 10 to 14 days, and then it's going to be what powers the shade part in this seed mixture here. And then lastly, as we go and we look at the one that most of us all know, Kentucky bluegrass. So when you see the Kentucky bluegrass in this mixture, it's going to be geared more towards the full sun. And the thing to note with Kentucky bluegrass is it is the slowest germinating grass out of all the cool season grass types. You're looking at somewhere between around 3 to 4 weeks before you're going to start seeing the germination of the Kentucky bluegrass. Now, this shows you of why they did this mixture here. You got a little bit of sunny stuff, you got a little bit of shaded stuff, and then they throw the perennial ryegrass in there to help it to start to pop up quickly. So it's kind of giving you an all around. Most people that aren't really that into lawns aren't buying this stuff wanting to have to wait 3 or 4 weeks to start seeing things. So they throw some of that perennial ryegrass in here so that you start getting results quickly and you keep buying their products because they work. I have a few spots in my lawn that absolutely are perfect for this type of seeding. So let me show you. So now as I walk through kind of my front lawn here, you'll see I actually have some dog spots that are literally perfect. Just little circles of dead grass there where literally nothing is growing. Now these type of spots are absolutely perfect and exactly what this Easy Seed was designed for. So here we go. Open it up. Now the one thing you want to know with this stuff is you don't want to go too heavy with it. You want to just kind of shake it in there, and you don't want to go crazy with how much you're putting down, because if you go way overboard, everything can kind of get choked out. So just want to go something like that. You do not want to pile it on. You can see the fertilizer in there and the grass seed kind of all in there. So now I'm going to go over the second method. This is going to be good for those of you who have just one type of grass in your lawn and you're really particular about what kind of grass seed goes down on your lawn. Now this could also apply for those of you who have sodded like front yards. Like if you have a newer build home and your front yard was sodded and it was just all Kentucky bluegrass, you may want to be careful about doing what I was previously doing, because if it's all just one grass type and you introduce something different, it might not blend as well. You'll be looking at a spot and being like, that just doesn't look quite right. And it's just because you're probably putting down a different grass type than what you have. But keep in mind that most of us, if you're in an older home or you know your lawn wasn't sodded, most of us have a mixture of cool season grass anyway, so you're probably not really going to notice the difference. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you rake up the areas and start to expose some of that soil. The seed is going to need that seed to soil contact so it can have a nice bed to rest in and give you the best results. Now, what you can do now with your grass seed is, if you know, hey, in the fall, I'm going to be getting ready to do a big seeding job here in a couple of months, what you can do, go buy that grass seed now and use a little bit of it to help do some of the spot repairs that you're wanting to do in your lawn. So you can control what type of grass seed you're putting down by doing it that way. Now, the next thing I would do is I would make sure that I have peat moss. Go buy a bundle of peat moss so that you can spread over top of it in a real thin layer, so the peat moss can spread on there real thin. And what it'll do is it'll help hold everything in, and it'll also soak up that moisture, and it'll change color to let you know whenever it's wet. So it's an easy visual indicator to tell, hey, I need to keep getting this watered because my seed's starting to dry out. Then what I would do then for the fertilizer aspect of it, instead of just trying to get a little scoop of fertilizer and put in a little spot and sprinkle it in, what I would do is just go ahead and just time it up when you're seeding for these little dead areas to just go ahead and do a full fertilizer application on your lawn. And this will help jumpstart the areas you're seeding and also feed the rest of your lawn at the same time. After you get everything done and accomplished, the next thing you're going to want to do is water, water, water. You want to make sure any new grass seed stays continuously wet and you do not allow it to dry out. The number one reason that seeding jobs fail is because of a lack of water. People just throw it out there and let Mother Nature do its thing, and you know what ends up happening? The next 3 weeks, no rain, 90-degree temperatures, full sun. And that just crushes your seeding job. So whenever you do it, you be in control of it. If you're just doing these small areas, it's pretty easy. You can just set out one sprinkler, have it go periodically a couple times a day. Now you don't want to go big, deep, heavy waterings and soak everything out. It's just you want to just keep it wet. Now once you start to see the seed germinate, then you can kind of dial it back to that inch to 1.5 inches of water every week that we typically do on our lawns through the growing season. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like, please be sure to like and subscribe to this video. I'll see you next time when we get out of the weeds into a beautiful lawn.